Yeah, it is.
Are we live? Are we live?
We're live.
I think we're live.
We're 4 seconds in.
Hey guys,
Hey,
we're live.
guys.
We've never done this before, so
And we've been like really harried getting ready for this.
So we are in Brittany's childhood home. This is where Brittany grew up here in Corpus Christi, Texas. We have been visiting Brittany's parents and allowing Caspian to have some family time before we get ready to get on the road.
And Caspian just went to bed like 5 minutes ago, so I like slapped on my headband.
He might make a guest
ran
appearance.
over here.
So how do we see comments? Can somebody drop us a comment just so we can see if we can see comments?
Oh, it's here.
Oh, where is it? Okay.
It's right here.
All right.
Okay. So
oh, look at that. We are live. Hey, we're live.
We're live.
So hi. Hey, if you're out there, let us know you're out there. Drop us a comment. Let us know where you're watching from. We have been getting a lot of comments on our YouTube channel and on our Instagram. And what we're finding is that we're getting a lot of global community members. So we've seen people from India and Tanzania, Pakistan, United States, of course, Canada, Mexico, all over the place. So let us know where you're watching from. What do you have to say, Brittany?
Well, let's introduce ourselves for the people who are just getting to know us. So we're Eric and Brittany Highland. We have a 4-year-old son named Caspian, and we are getting ready to drive around the world.
What? Yes, we are anticipating it'll be a 10 to 15 year journey. If you've been following our YouTube channel, you know that you've seen Dauntless, our Gladiator that's being built. And if you have any questions about the trip, if you have any questions about Dauntless, if you have any questions for us just in general, feel free to ask. I don't know where we can even see these comments.
We've been traveling full-time since February 2014, and we started out as RVers. So when we moved out of our apartment in Austin, Texas, we had a 40-foot diesel RV that felt really small at the time, coming from an apartment. But after a few years, we realized that a 30,000-pound vehicle is not the best way to get to the wild places.
And don't ask us how we know this. So Brittany actually took that 40-foot RV. Now, it's one of those big diesel pushers, 32,000 pounds. She took it on Forest Service roads that were rutted and had rocks, that had shelf roads, and then there were like...
We went on a beach one time.
Forget that. She was on 90-degree turns going up a plateau in this beast. She's a little crazy.
I made sure that the sand was firm.
And she's like, I got this. I got this.
So anyway, we discovered what overlanding was in 2018 and got really captivated by it, but we weren't sure whether we would like it. So we sold our RV, moved into our Jeep Wrangler just to kind of make sure we would like it.
Yeah, we sold our home. We sold the only home we had. We packed our 2-year-old in the Jeep and we went into Mexico. And that was our first international overlanding experience. That's where it all started. Brittany, I think some comments are coming in.
Are they?
Yeah, right here, over here. I think that's where they're at.
Oh.
So Brittany's going to check those out. But yeah, wait, what do we have here?
I don't know why I can't see where the chat is on that side.
What is pop-out chat? Let's try that. Oh, look at this.
Oh, look. There
look,
it is.
you guys, look, we're actually going to be able to
Pop-out
answer
chat.
your comments here in just a second.
Oh, awesome. So we have
Okay.
Mike from Utah, Chris from Fenton, Michigan.
Gosh, we really enjoyed Michigan, didn't we? So for those of you that don't know, we have been traveling around North America for the past 8 years full-time. We don't own any home or property. The closest thing we have is this house right here where Brittany grew up, which about once a year we stop through and say hi to Brittany's folks and spend a little time here. And then we get back out on the road. So it's been a lot of fun being out on the road. And we have circumnavigated the United States multiple times. So as we're seeing this here, people in Utah, people in Michigan, we've been to all y'all states. And we've enjoyed all y'all. That's what you say when you're in Texas. All y'all states. And we have enjoyed every single one.
Yeah, so we do see that a couple questions have come in. Thank you. Keep sending your questions. Before we get to questions, I thought we might do like a life update. Like, where are we at? What do the next few weeks look like? How long until we're not in the United States anymore? And then we'll dive right into questions.
Sounds good.
All right, you first.
All right, so where we're at right now, we just finished building Dauntless. Dauntless is our 2021 Jeep Gladiator that has been purposefully built for a global journey. So there's a lot of things we did differently on Dauntless than we did for than on our North American build. So if you've seen our older videos, you'll see our Jeep Wrangler. We never would have built a vehicle for global travel the way the Wrangler was built. So this one has been very purposefully built for this global travel. We finished that build, and now we've been hanging out at Brittany's parents' place here. We're in Corpus Christi, Texas. It's really hot and humid. So if you see me doing this, that's why. It's kind of uncomfortable. But we, hey, let's be fair.
Let's go into Central America.
Yeah. You're so funny. Hey, typically we chase the weather. So here's what's happening. We are wrapping up here, and by August 15th, we'll be leaving Corpus Christi, and we are going to head towards Loveland, Colorado for Overland Expo Mountain West, where our Gladiator Dauntless will be on display in the showcase area. We'll do some public speaking there. Then we're going to Montrose, Colorado for another event called the RV Entrepreneur Summit, where we'll be speaking and showing Dauntless there. And then we are going to Overland Expo West in Flagstaff, Arizona.
Which is at the end of September.
At the end of September. It's the biggest overland show in the world, I believe. And we will actually have Dauntless in the Goose Gear booth. I did that on accident.
That's why you wore that.
No, I didn't on accident. I just realized it when we were doing this.
Fancy.
Anyway, Dauntless will be in the Goose Gear booth, so we'll be doing that. And then after that, we get to come back to Texas, say goodbye one more time, and then in early October, we're going to head into Mexico and begin our 10 to 15 year global journey that we've been waiting for.
Yeah, and we already have reservations in Mexico. So our first reservation is October 11th. So we know for sure that it's a real thing. We can't just put it off. It's really going to happen.
All right, so let's look at some of these questions here.
All right, guys.
Everybody's saying, hi, howdy. Wait, let me go back up there. Let me see who these people are. Hi, Utah. Mike in Utah. Hi, Mike in Utah. And Chris in Michigan. Whole lot of Texas folks. Howdy, y'all. To y'all Texas folks. Asheville, North Carolina, Connecticut. All right. 10 to 15 years. Hi, David. Oh, yeah, David Lackey. All right. So 10 to 15 years. This is from Mike. He says 10 to 15 years seems crazy. Do you intend to stop in one place for a long time, or do you think you will move frequently? Brittany.
Thanks. Throwing me the softball. I mean, it might seem crazy, but for us, we've been traveling full time in the United States in one country for almost 8 years. Yeah. And so when you put it in perspective and then compare it to a country like Brazil, for example, I mean, you could spend years just traveling around Brazil. So the world is a really big place, and there's a lot to see, and we just don't really have a timeline. I think the only timeline at some point will be if Caspian wants to do something in particular for high school or something like that, and we'll be sensitive to that. But other than that, this is life for us. We don't have any timeline that we have to meet. So we're just thinking 2-3 years per continent should do it.
So it is just an estimate. There are people who have driven around the world in 3 to 5 years, but understand that we don't have a timeline. We're not in a hurry. And we've already kind of discussed the idea that if we really fall in love with the country and maybe their visa length only allows us to stay in country for, say, 6 months, we can drive out of that country and then drive back into the country, renew the visa, and stay for an additional 6 months. And that's not off the table for us. All right. Hope that answers that question. Next question here. It says, hey, next July 25th through 29th in Cherokee, North Carolina, their Jeep Gladiator camping group rally.
Oh, just Gladiators, huh?
Hey, that would be really cool. We'd love to be there. Why don't you guys join us in Honduras? Or where are we going to be by then? I don't know. We don't know where we're going to be.
That's our anniversary, though.
July 29th. So think about us, have a slice of cake, have some wine or something. And thank you, Nanas.
Cheers to that.
Cheers. All right. Hello. Where is your starting point for the trip around the world, and will you visit every state again in the United States? Brittany, you did. No, go ahead.
Thanks. So our starting point is Mexico. So we'll be saying goodbye to my family. They live in Corpus Christi, Texas, and in South Texas. And then we'll go up to Laredo and cross the border into Mexico there. So other than our public speaking, that's between Texas and Colorado and Arizona. That's about all we have left of the United States, which is really weird to think about.
It is.
But it's true. And then as far as the 10 to 15 years, for those who haven't heard us talk about this before, so our Jeep Gladiator will not be coming back to the United States
Right.
in
So
those 10 to 15 years.
If you want to see the Jeep, you either have to go to Overland Expo Mountain West or Overland Expo West,
or fly out and see us.
Or fly out and see us wherever we're at. But other than that, once that Jeep leaves the United States, we're not coming back with that vehicle.
We will be coming back. We will not be gone for 10 to 15 years because we have a lot of family in the United States, and we love to share at the different overlanding and travel events. So we will be back to do some public speaking. It may be 2 years before we come back. So we'll see.
All right.
All right.
All right. So, hello from the beautiful Midwestern Chicago, Illinois. Hey, Chicago. It's good pizza up there. Any relationship advice for couples van living? First time gun owner. All right. Any relationship advice for couples living in a van or in a vehicle? Marry your best friend. That's my advice. Look, or have that person be your best friend, whoever it is. It's much more about friendship than just a relationship, like a physical, intimate relationship. It's really about being best friends with the person that you're with. And I don't just say that. It's a small space.
Well, there's a lot of different hardships that you confront. I mean, a lot of bad weather days and breakdowns. Hopefully not for us with a brand new vehicle for a little while, but
yeah, it can be very stressful. And weather, or something that's going on. There's always something that's going on.
Well, just things don't go according to plan ever.
Right.
So that's just a lot to put on a relationship. So I guess know yourself, know what you need to fuel yourself. I'm an introvert, so I have to have some time by myself to recharge. And that can be really difficult when we literally have one vehicle. And for the most part, we're all going the same place all the time. So it might be finding a coffee shop for me to hang out at for an hour or two, and Eric taking Caspian.
Or Brittany will take a hike or something just to get out and have some time by herself.
Yeah. Communication, obviously, just a lot of really open communication. You can't let stuff build up that you're not talking about. You have to talk it out, because otherwise that never happens to me, though. I never keep things inside.
If you guys could only see the behind the scenes footage, that's all I got to say. The stuff that never makes YouTube.
We just celebrated our 10-year wedding anniversary.
We did. We made it to 10 years, y'all.
On July 29th. So.
Yeah.
Ding. Okay. Was that helpful?
Hopefully
I hope that was helpful.
Any plans to expand the family? Oh my gosh. If so, what's next for Living Space? Who is this? John. How do you delete somebody off of your YouTube channel?
Oh,
no, I'm just kidding.
Very nice.
No, John, I'm just kidding.
Know.
Listen, no, we're all about family. We love family, but here's the problem with that. The Gladiator is actually built to seat 3.
I'm pretty sure that has nothing to do with it.
It has everything to do with it. We can't add another family member.
So we have 5 kids. So Eric had 4 before we got married, and the eldest is 24 and the youngest is 17, and he just graduated high school.
With an associate's degree.
So Caspian was a little bit of a compromise because it was starting over again for Eric. So he's going to be our only little extra travel buddy. And yeah, we love all our kids, and they're all making lives for themselves now, our older kids, and hopefully they will all be out to see us at some point.
Yeah. So the short answer to your question is no plans to expand the family.
Also, we're grandparents.
Yes. And no plans to expand the family. And so hopefully that answers that question. All right. No plans whatsoever to expand the family. Hi from the Philippines.
Whoa,
wow.
Hey.
Yes. Can we drive to the Philippines?
That's going to be a tough one.
We're probably going to have to fly to the Philippines.
Yeah. I don't want to miss the Philippines.
I don't want to miss Philippines. Finger Lakes, New York.
Oh,
thank you, John.
Area.
All right. Chris Martin, what is your favorite food to cook? This question is obviously for me.
Because you do the cooking?
No, I've never cooked a day in my life. So, Brittany, what is your favorite?
So, interesting fun fact. Eric has been on keto since 2016. He was diagnosed with diabetes.
Type 2.
And so we started keto, which, if you don't know, is a low carb, high fat, medium protein diet. And so we maintain that as we're traveling. It is harder out of the country because there are certain things in the United States, like we get these low carb tortillas and we use them for absolutely everything. And the last time we were in Mexico, they didn't have those yet. I'm hoping that they will be there at some point. Okay, this is not answering your question, but I give it for context to say that we do have some dietary restrictions that we work around. And probably our favorite thing to cook on the road is tacos.
Love taco night.
Any kind of like steak. We do a lot of meat.
Brittany makes a really mean keto chili.
Keto chili.
That's
yeah.
pretty good.
What about my
your pork chops?
My pork chops.
Oh my god.
I have a new pork chop recipe that I discovered
so
during shelter in place. That's our favorite family meal. It's pork chops and it's caramelized onions and pieces of bacon because bacon and pork go together.
Yeah. It's great. So that's the answer. Favorite food to cook? Pork chops, right?
I think
Agreed?
So. Yeah, agreed.
All right. Are you planning on learning the native languages of all the planned travel destinations? Kiara, wow. That's Kiara O'Brien that asked that question.
I don't know if that's possible.
Yeah. I don't know learning the languages, but I do want to say
But it is a really important question.
It is an important question. And what's really important is to make an effort in every country. So we don't want to be the people that roll up and expect everybody to speak English. We are guests. We are in their country, and we want to be respectful of all the people groups and all the people that we run into. So we are going to make an attempt to learn some of the basic phrases like thank you and please and may I and where's the bathroom.
Just to show that we're making an effort, and I think that'll go a long way. And then as far as communication beyond that, so there's Google Translate,
which you can download, by the way.
Yeah, and then so Google Translate comes in language packages, and so you can download the language packet for when you're offline. It's not available in every single language, but in many of them it is. Eric is fluent in Spanish. And I can get by in Spanish.
She's dangerous in
Spanish.
It's
not pretty, but I can get by. And I definitely plan on learning Spanish a lot better. And that's going to last us for the next, 3 years, probably at least, just knowing how to speak Spanish. And then we will take it from there.
But there are programs also like Duolingo. So Duolingo is a great app on the phone. And as we start to make our way into various countries, I would like to maybe a month before we go into the country, start getting on Duolingo for that language and just pick up as much as I can.
And of course, for Caspian too, that's going to be part of his education is learning other languages. So we will learn along with him.
All right. John Burnett asks, how did you decide on the Gladiator? So actually it was a long process to get there. We looked at every vehicle. We looked at the big box trucks. We looked at taking our current Wrangler just to South America and then seeing how that would work after that. We looked at Unimogs. We looked at Earth Cruisers, Earth Roamers, global expedition vehicles. We even toured the Earth Roamer factory. We went to Expo. We crawled into rigs, crawled under rigs.
We looked at trailers. Did you say that?
No, we even looked at trailers.
Patriot campers.
We looked at pretty much everything. And the reason we ended up on the Gladiator was several reasons. Number one, we were already comfortable with the Jeep as a platform in general. Number two, it met the criteria of being small enough to ship inside a container for transoceanic shipping. Number three.
And also as far as size goes, it fit our size of travel,
that was my number three.
Oh,
go ahead.
Okay. Well, as far as the size goes, through our travels in Mexico, we realized that while we love wild camping, and that's one of the reasons we love the Jeep is because it can get us out there, but we also really like city life and town life and being in the center of the culture. And with a larger vehicle, we're not going to be able to drive up to the town square and park, and we can do that with the Jeep Gladiator.
Yeah, a lot of these towns that we visited already have very small, they're older colonial towns, very small, narrow streets, cobblestone streets, low hanging wires, low bridges, and that type of thing. And so when we were in, I think it was Mulegé, we saw this box truck, this overlanding box truck, which was so cool, coming towards town. And eventually they just gave up and didn't come into town because they had to keep lifting cables with a dead man stick to be able to get their vehicle underneath an electrical cable, and the roads were too narrow and it just became a mess. And for us, the type of travel we enjoy, it helped to have that smaller vehicle. The Jeep is also capable of taking us off-road. like you mentioned. And so we do enjoy that type of travel. What other reasons?
Budget was a big one.
We didn't want to take debt around the world. So that was a big deal, right?
Yeah. So we, not going into debt, ruled out most vehicles. So this is one that fit in our budget.
And this is kind of a segue into that, Brittany, because one of the questions that we get asked the most on YouTube specifically is, are you guys independently wealthy? Like, how do you afford to do this, right? And so we have a video on our YouTube channel called The Long Game, which kind of tells our whole story in great detail. If you haven't watched that and you want the full answer to that question, you can watch it there. But the bottom line is, we're not independently wealthy. We are,
until very recently, we had 5 business projects that we owned and were running.
And so we either sold those or transferred ownership, and that, along, what we earned from that, along with my pension from having served in the United States military for 20 years, is what's going to allow us to travel around the world. We're not independently wealthy. We've just made intentional decisions that it's allowed us to get to this point where we're going to be able to travel
over a long period of time.
All right. Brian Winkle. Hey, guys.
Brian.
Hey, so Brian's watching. Brian, shout out to you. Sonoran Expedition Collective in Tucson, Arizona. One of the 4 shops that built out our Gladiator. Brian, the owner of that shop, is watching right now. So thanks, Brian, for continuing to be part of our community.
Awesome.
First, I appreciate your answer. You guys are the best. Thank you so much. Thank you. Appreciate that. My wife and I are truck drivers, and we are with each other 24/7. I do agree with you guys. Yeah.
Thanks, John.
Thanks, John.
All right.
Josue, what do you guys use to upload your videos while you guys are on the road?
Luck.
A whole lot of luck. No. So, that's really interesting because it's going to be different, you guys. We try and release a video every Thursday. If you've been following our channel for some time, you know that every Thursday you can pretty much count on getting a video from us. When we start going internationally, I don't know what that's going to look like. We're going to record video, and we're going to do our best to publish video as often as we can. I don't know if it's going to happen every Thursday, but as far as what we use, we keep it very simple because space is at a premium. We're not carrying around a bunch of camera gear, and as you can see, we don't have the best lighting even in this video. We work with what we've got.
Just hanging out with you in the living room.
Yep.
Doesn't have to be fancy.
Right, but we carry 2 DJI Osmo Pocket cameras, which are great little cameras, by the way.
They're tiny.
They're tiny little cameras, and that's what we film on. And then we take the footage from that camera, put it into the computer, and then connect to a Wi-Fi source. We do carry our own Wi-Fi here in the United States. That's not going to be the case when we go internationally. So to answer your question, Josue, we don't know how we're going to upload it once we go south of the border, but we'll figure it out just like we figure out.
There'll be Wi-Fi connections.
Every other
I'm guessing. Just once a week, we need to be able to upload a video. So we'll figure it out.
Kiara says, would you ever consider building a tiny house and buying some land in another country while on your travels? I know what my answer is. Do you know what your answer is?
I mean, I've pictured myself living in another country. I don't think I would get a tiny house. I think I would want to live like a block from the Zocalo or something like that. Hear the church bells ringing and shop at the market. And
maybe many, 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 many years from now. But people ask us all the time, how long are you going to do this? How long are you going to travel full time without owning a house? And we've been doing it for 8 years, and our answer is still indefinitely. Like, we have no plans at all right now to settle down in any one place. There are places that we really love and communities that we really love, but the wanderlust is there, and there's so much to see, so much to explore. And every time we go around to a new location, we're floored and amazed. So I don't know.
It's hard to picture settling down.
All right, let's see. My name is Cody. And hi, Cody. And I started a channel. Do you have any advice when maintaining a channel, any channel? So, Cody, I don't know much about YouTube. I'm still.
Be honest.
I'm still. Hey, we're not going to be people that we aren't. We're going to tell you like we know it. I'm still learning. I'm still learning the platform. What I would recommend to use to be consistent, right? So just be yourself. Don't try to be somebody you're not. Do your best, but be consistent every single week and respond to the comments. For those of you who are new to our channel, We respond to every comment. I think that at the start of this video, I had responded to every single comment that has ever been left on our YouTube channel, period. And that's thousands of comments. So
well, and that segues into community. And I think that's where our success has been on YouTube, is community, both the larger community that we have been building for 10 years or so while we've been on the road.
Not on YouTube, but on the road with our other social media.
Right, because we've been traveling since 2014 and we've been building community that whole time. And so even though we were new to YouTube this year when we launched, we weren't new to social media, and we had a really big community. And then also building community with other people in whatever your niche is. So for us, it's travel. For someone else, it might be fly fishing or...
Speaking of fishing and building community, shout out to Mav. I know a lot of you joined our channel from Mav. Mav's got an incredible YouTube channel, and out of the blue, we connected with him in...
Well, he wanted to go to Baja. And
yeah,
so that's
a long story.
Yeah.
Go ahead, tell the story.
So a friend of a friend connected the two of you so you could tell him about Baja.
And I did, and then Mav and I became friends, and then we were coming through Utah. He was in Utah. We decided to go camping together. And then he asked me and said, hey, Eric, I'd like to do a video about you guys. I didn't ask him. I didn't expect that. We just wanted to hang out. But he was really kind, and he did a video on us. And I think he has like just a gazillion subscribers on his channel. So when that went out, a lot of people found out about our story and joined our channel. So that's another way, Cody, is to connect with people in your niche of whatever it is that you're doing in gaming, and see if you can collaborate with them. All right, what's the next question?
Is it June or Jen? Let us know how to say your name.
June or Jen. What would you consider to be the most beautiful place you guys ever visited? I know every place offers something different, but what's top of your list? Thank you. All right, you go first, then I'll go. Or should I go? Are you?
If you know yours.
Oh, I know mine.
Oh, I don't know mine.
All right. So the most beautiful place that I've personally ever been to is Antarctica. And the reason that it's the most beautiful place is that there's nothing like it. There's nothing to compare it to. I've been there twice. It is absolutely gorgeous. It's completely white. I was down there in the summer both times, and you can't even put it into words as far as sheer beauty goes. Now, that's not my favorite place, but your question was, what is the most beautiful place? And that has to be it.
I can't decide. There was an overlook on the Grand Canyon that we visited this year where I actually got to hike down to the bottom of the Grand Canyon, and the views there were incredible. It was so beautiful. Sorry, my grandpa's calling me. And then Acadia National Park in Maine. I love Maine. I love the Great Lakes just because it's so wild that they're lakes. You just look out and it's water as far as you can see, and it's so peaceful.
This is the part of the video where Brittany mentions every place she's ever been, as you can see. But that's okay. That's okay, because this is why we travel, you guys. I mean, so many people, they don't leave their state. They don't leave the city that they're in. I can't tell you how many people we've run across that say, I've never left the state. And that blows my mind. Like, I can't even conceive of that. But if you get a chance to travel, you guys travel and get out there and see stuff, you'll be completely amazed.
As far as cities, Rome is my favorite.
I like Salzburg in Austria.
We will get back to you on this in 10 to 15 years.
All right, Kira, great answer. I didn't know about the offline version of Google Translate. Yes, you just have to download the pack.
And then you can just hand the phone back and forth.
Yeah, you can just say whatever you want and hand it over.
With people.
All right. Best looking grandparents.
I'm Gigi. That's my grandma name.
And I'm Papa. Papa and Gigi.
All right. Oh, yeah. So John is asking what model of the Gladiator that we have.
Right.
Oh, good question.
Great question, John.
We can answer this one.
That one we can actually answer. So the Jeep Gladiator comes in several trims, and we're not going to get too into the weeds because I don't want to get off on this topic for people who may not be interested. But the Jeep Gladiator comes in like the Rubicon,
You just said you weren't going to do this.
Okay. It comes in a lot of trims.
It's not a Rubicon.
Right.
It is the Sport S.
Yes. The Sport S with the max tow package in both manual and automatic has the highest payload capacity that you can get in a Jeep Gladiator. The Sport S with the manual has 1,700 pounds payload, and the Sport S with the automatic has 1,565 pounds of payload capacity. So that's why we went with that, because for overlanders, it's much more important to have the payload capacity than it is to have the rock crawling capability. Hope that answers your question. All right, let's see.
Oh, and he asked about price.
Oh, price?
It's like 43.
Yeah, I want to say around maybe somewhere between 40 and 43. I think, yeah, I think you're right. 42.
Right.
She's right. She does the money. 43. All right. Sport, yes.
Hi, Becca and Vicky.
Hi, Becca and Vicky.
Hi.
Hi.
Thanks for being here.
Yeah, absolutely. What did I do in the military? Do any of those skills transfer into overlanding?
None.
Oh my gosh. So yes, they do. And I spent 20 years in the United States Coast Guard. I retired as a chief petty officer, and my background was in logistics. However, in the Coast Guard, the way it works is that you have to be operational within your specialty at whatever unit you go to. And so I actually served on quite a few ships. I've done counter-narcotic work, counterterrorism, anti-terrorism force protection, counter-narcotics, search and rescue, maritime law enforcement.
He's delivered a baby.
Hazmat response. I've done all kinds of stuff. And so, yes, and I think that the primary thing that transfers over is just being ready for anything that's thrown your way. Because in the Coast Guard, you're a first responder. And so it doesn't matter if somebody's boat's on fire, if there's been a collision, if a boat is sinking, if there's drugs or pirates, whatever it is, when we get the call, we go. And so you just have to be ready for anything that's thrown your way. So that traveling a lot, which I did, and living minimalistically.
I have one too. I would say your situational awareness is like tops, and your instincts are really good. And so Eric's really good at assessing a situation and who's where and doing what. And
it's kind of weird. You can't turn it off. Like I'll walk into a restaurant and the first thing I'm looking at are what the egress points are, which means how do we get out of here? You know, where are the exits at? Can we bust through a window? If we have to bust through a window, I kind of scan, I look for people, and if they're acting weird, it's just weird. You can't turn it off. All right, let's see. Who's next? Dave.
Do you foresee any countries being a challenge to travel into?
Yes.
Yes. So for various reasons, right? So one is just instability. Government instability leads to instability in the rest of society. So Venezuela, we don't think we're going to drive through.
As of right now.
But again, like this is the thing, 10 to 15 years. And so we don't even really think about the Middle East or parts of Africa because just too much is going to change before we get there. And we'll assess when we get closer. But just some things that we consider is there are some countries that are difficult, if not impossible, to drive through with an American passport. And other countries, if you have a passport or a passport stamp from another country that they don't like, they won't let you drive through their country. And so those are all things that we kind of have to keep an eye on ahead of time before we even start going through that region. But yeah, one continent at a time. We haven't really talked about it, but we've developed this model that Eric calls the hub model, where at the beginning of every continent, we stay in one country for maybe 6 months at a time. So we're doing this in Mexico for Central and South America. And we're going to make sure that all our paperwork is in order for our visas. And we're going to make local contacts in every country because we've learned that that's a really important part of travel. Not just safety, but also just being enriched in our travel and being able to plug in and give back to local communities.
Yeah.
And what else are we going to? Oh, just route planning, because we haven't done any route planning. We've been so focused on the build and just like wrapping up our life in the US and just like we're going. So when we get into Mexico, we're actually going to start planning where we're going in Central and South America because we haven't done that yet.
That's right. And one of the things, look at these comments here. We're not going to answer those two. Those are inappropriate. So one of the things that I did want to say about this is that as you think about a global trip, yeah, we have to talk about it from a 10 to 15 year global perspective because we are looking to drive around the world, but we don't see it as that. Like, in other words, right now we see it as we're going to Mexico. And then when we're done in Mexico, we're going to Belize. And when we're done with Bolivia, then we're going into the next country and the next country and the next.
And that keeps it from being overwhelming.
Yeah,
too.
we don't want to think about it from that perspective of, oh my gosh, we still have to get to Austria when we're in Central America. That's not happening. Like, we're literally taking it one step at a time.
Yeah. Way before Austria, it starts to get overwhelming if you really think about it.
All right. So the next question
Will
is,
you be at Overland Expo in Arizona?
And how do I say his name?
Abdirazak
Mohammed. I'm sorry if I'm mispronouncing this. Abdirazak Mohammed. I think I got that right.
I was saying yes, we'll be there.
Yes, we are going to be at Overland Expo in Flagstaff, Arizona, the end of August. You will find us in the Goose Gear booth.
Will you be there?
Will you be there? And if you are, come by the Goose Gear booth. We'd love to see you, meet with you, and hang out.
Yeah, actually, if anyone watching is going to Overland Expo Mountain West or West in Flagstaff, comment and let us know. We'd love to meet you in person if we haven't already.
Jeffrey says, hey, we saw y'all on Mav.
Sweet.
Yeah, we just gave Mav a shout out. A lot of our community found out about us through Mav, and thanks for being here, Jeff. I've got a Ford Ranger. So this is coming from John Burnett. I've got a Ford Ranger that I've built out for overlanding, but I'm looking to change platforms and possibly a Gladiator. What are you going to say?
I think I'm going to say what you're going to say.
Go ahead.
Okay. You have to listen to something. The Overland Journal podcast did an episode all about the Jeep Gladiator.
Episode 12.
And its suitability for overlanding. And actually, I'm going to drop it in a comment.
Okay, so Brittany's going to do that. And I'm kind of talk to you about this for a second, John. So the Gladiator is a great platform. And if you are going to select the Gladiator, like I said, I highly encourage you to look at the Sport S with the max tow package in manual, preferably, if you're willing to go that route. If not, we chose to go with the automatic, and we sacrificed 165 pounds of payload in order to go with the automatic. But look at the Sport S with a max tow package as far as the Gladiator. Having said that, there's nothing wrong with a lot of the other platforms that are out there. And if you're looking to switch, really dial it into the type of travel that you want to do. Okay. The Toyota is a great platform. The Lexus is a great platform. If you can afford it, the Geländewagen is a phenomenal platform, but there's just a lot to look at if you're going to switch platforms. And I would say, take your time, figure out who's going on the trip, where you're going on the trip, what type of environment you'll be going on the trip, and look into that carefully and ask a ton of questions before you make that final call.
And actually, so I'm kind of a huge Overland Journal fan, but in the Gear 2021 issue of Overland Journal, they did a whole article on the best SUVs on the market for overlanding. I know we're talking trucks, but if you want to consider SUVs as well, their testing process is phenomenal. And I found that article really insightful. So just FYI.
All right. Oh, look at June came back. It's pronounced June like the month. Hi, June. Sorry about that. We were trying. We're thankful that you're part of our community.
Yeah.
All right, let's see here.
Oh, John's going to Rome.
So
Eric turned 50 last year, and I was taking him to Rome for his birthday. It was in June. You can imagine what happened. It got canceled. Okay, here we go. Michael, with all of the modifications that were made to the Jeep, were there any small mistakes or issues that annoyed you? And I get annoyed really easily when it comes to our vehicle.
So go ahead and answer if you have an answer.
Well, the answer is no today, but it wasn't no like a month ago. What?
You're hilarious.
Okay. So basically, can I talk about the suspension? And
you talk about whatever you want, since you were at the shop all those days and you know so much about it. Go ahead.
I just want to say one thing, and then Eric can say. Okay. So we did so much research on the payload of this vehicle, and it was supposed to be 1,535 pounds of payload capacity. And then we saw the sticker on the door.
And it's 1,565 pounds.
Okay. Slash.
Don't say any more of that. Just cut it. All right. Listen, the question is, were there any modifications that were made to the Jeep that were small mistakes or issues that annoyed you? And the answer to that question is yes, and probably more so than we know as of right now.
It's true.
Okay, because we haven't done the shakedowns yet. We literally took a stock Jeep Gladiator and in 45 days transformed that vehicle into a global overlanding vehicle. And we haven't taken it out really to test it yet. And so we're going to. Our first shakedown run is going to be here from August 15th, from the day we leave here, to go to Loveland, Colorado, and put it through its paces. And there are going to be things that we're not going to be happy with. And I'm positive of that. One thing I will tell you is we'll be transparent about it. Whatever we find, we're going to share with the community. We are sponsored by a lot of companies. We're sponsored by 22 different companies.
Gear sponsors, not monetary sponsors.
But Jeep is not one of them. So we are happy to share everything, even with our gear sponsors, about stuff that we don't care for or we think could be improved upon. For us, transparency is very important. As far as things that have been done so far that I'm concerned about that I don't like, I really can't think of anything because we literally selected everything intentionally for this vehicle. There's things that are on the Jeep Gladiator itself that I wish weren't on the Jeep, like the rear view mirror, which does me no good whatsoever. But I can't remove it because you can actually get a ticket in various countries for not having a rear view mirror, even if you can't see behind you. So there's that. But we'll keep you posted. We will let you know.
Oh yeah, we'll be doing a ton of updates over time about the vehicle, and hopefully we can save other people some headaches.
All right. So Brittany dropped in the comments for you guys looking the Overland Journal podcast and an article that she wrote on why we picked the Gladiator. Chris says you can't wait to see the new uploads from our travels. Chris, we can't wait to see the new.
Yeah, we're ready for some more travel videos.
Man, it is hard. So, it's so weird for us to be inside a house, like for an extended period of time. We are so used to living life on the road. And honestly, I know for me, and I'm pretty sure I can speak for Brittany in this, we are ready to get back on the road. So that is going to happen really soon here.
Well, and let's real quick talk about our next series that are coming up.
Oh, okay.
So a week from today, we launch our next series on YouTube, and we're calling it Overlanding 101. We'll see how much it actually is that. But we have some really cool videos planned. We were just talking about them today. So some examples. We're going to be doing a day in the life where we kind of share what our day as full-time overlanders looks like, our setup at camp, and just kind of the whole flow of things. Mm-hmm. And we hope that'll be really insightful for people who just wonder what it looks like to be full-time overlanders with a kid and working.
And it's going to be Overland 101 from our perspective. Like, we've been doing this full-time for a while. We've been at this. And so we want to be able to share stuff that's practical and useful. It's not going to be, some really high level type stuff. It's going to be, this is really what it's like out there. Here's the day to day. And we're going to share with you some of the tips that we've learned from our travels that we've incorporated into what we do today. So I think it'll be really useful for folks.
So of course we'll do like a kitchen and camp cooking video. We're going to do a hygiene video about toileting and showering and keeping things clean. Mm-hmm. We're going to do an everyday gear video where we pull out like some of our favorite stuff that we use all the time. And you guys know that we don't like get stuff just to get stuff because we can't. We live in a Jeep. So we select everything super carefully.
And I got to say that a lot of people have asked us questions who've been following us about our sponsorships. So we are sponsored by 22 companies. They're listed right on our YouTube channel, on every platform that we're on.
Our
website. We're very transparent about it. We don't talk about them to brag and say, oh, look, we're sponsored. We talk about it because it's our ethical duty to tell people when we're sponsored with a product. But I do want to say this. There is no universe, for example, in which we were going to take a vehicle around the world without a Warn winch on the front of that vehicle. If Warn had never decided to sponsor us, it still would have been a Warn winch that went on that vehicle. The same can be said for the Rigid Industries lighting. There was no other lighting company that was ever going to go on the vehicle, whether they sponsored us or not. So, and then there were plenty of things that we bought that we're not sponsored with at all. Because it was the right piece of gear to go with us on the journey. So while we are sponsored and we do tell people about that for ethical reasons, you can also trust that every piece of gear that's on our vehicle is a piece of gear that we selected across the board before any kind of.
I mean, our son lives in that Jeep. We're not going to settle for anything but the best product for our family.
Right.
So,
All
right. Nana says something that I don't know anything about.
She says, I thought if you get the max tow package, that extra automatically comes in the automatic. No, you can get the max tow package in the manual. Which if you did, it gives you 1,700 pounds of payload capacity, which is the highest you can possibly get in a Jeep Gladiator. For a vehicle with a 5-foot bed that small, that is a massive payload. And that's one of the reasons that the Jeep Gladiator Sport S with a max tow, whether an automatic or manual, is the right choice for overlanding. Now, I'm not saying it's the right choice for rock crawling or weekend camping, but if you're doing long, extended period of overlanding where you're going to carry a lot of gear, that's the trim you want to look at. All right.
Echo says, where is your next destination?
So we covered that a little bit earlier, but we are going into Mexico next. After we go to Colorado and Arizona to speak at Overland Expo, then we're going to go into Mexico and then Central America, South America.
So we're spending a month in San Luis Potosí, and then we're spending 2 months in Guanajuato. And then we will go through Puebla in Mexico, where Eric has family. And then we're going to go up the Yucatan Peninsula, which I'm super excited to drive up the peninsula. We've been to Cancun and Merida, but we flew to, again, see Eric's family back before Caspian was born. So I'm so excited to travel the Yucatan with a vehicle.
Right. And so Merida will be there. But we also plan on driving around while we're there. We're going to be home based at several different cities, but we're going to take, excursions out.
And again, like this in Mexico is a unique model that we don't plan to do in any other country because this is a planning country for us. We're planning Central and South America while we're in Mexico. So normally we wouldn't stay anywhere for that long.
So one of the things that I got to tell you, Brittany, that cracks me up is we do a YouTube live, and I answer YouTube comments all day long. Like that's all I do. I just sit there and hit refresh, and there's a ton more comments that I go through and I answer them. And now we're live, and I think people are being shy because we're running up against the end of the comments, which is fine. But you guys don't be shy.
Don't be shy.
Like we're seriously here for you guys. If there's any question that you wanted to ask us, just ask us. I mean, we're honestly doing the best we can to answer your questions and be very direct with you guys. So if you have questions, ask us. And if for some reason you see this live video after it's over and you have questions, ask. We'll still take the time to answer. All right. John says it'll be his wife and his dog, and they're going to travel the states, Alaska, and possibly Baja.
Awesome.
That's awesome, John. You will enjoy it. And I will tell you, Baja, if somebody were to ask me, hey, I want to go international overlanding for the very first time in a country that's going to challenge me a little bit, that would be my recommendation, would be Baja. I mean, Canada, if you're not from Canada, is international, granted, but it's not the same. Baja would be a nice little challenge, and it would be a lot of fun. All right.
Thanks, Michael, for the kind words. Appreciate that.
I didn't even read it. Oh, thank you, Michael. David Lackey says, are you going to risk any off-road trails in foreign countries?
Pavement only, now on.
Absolutely. Yes. Oh, 100%. Look, there are going to be so many challenges that we face. There are going to be things that happen. And for those of you who don't know us, we're not mechanics. We're not engineers. We're not electricians. Stuff is going to get jacked up and we're going to have to figure it out. And that's all part of the journey. And we're totally okay with that. It doesn't mean it's going to be easy. It doesn't mean that there aren't going to be times where we're not going, oh my gosh, what did we just do? Things are going to happen, but they're going to happen because we're taking the risk to make them happen. And yes, the answer to that question is absolutely 100%. We are going off-road. We have a huge off-road community already in Mexico that has been telling us we can't wait for you to come back, and we can't wait to see them. So yes, the answer to that is yes.
What year do you think you will be in Africa?
Whew.
So we're not going into Central America until 2022.
That's Central America.
We might get into South America by the end of 2022, but I don't know whether we will. So let's say South America 2023.
No, South America, we get in 2023.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
23, 24, 25. So maybe 25, 26.
That's what I would estimate.
2025, 2026 in Africa.
Starting in South Africa. And then we're going to base in South Africa for probably a few months.
Yeah.
Because that's when we're going to plan Africa. We're going to stop in South Africa and plan Africa.
Yeah, actually, one of our sponsors is Alucab, and they are based out of Cape Town, South Africa.
They also make our home.
They also make our home. So we're hopeful that if there's any issues with our home, we can stop by, say hi to Jeremy and Yana and all the folks at Alucab and say, hey, check this out. We've abused the heck out of this, taken it through North America, Central America, and South America. Now we're here. And if there's anything that needs to be tweaked, they can help us with that. And more importantly, they can help us plan our route.
I was going to say, maybe they'll take us to some cool places. That's
well,
what I want to
yeah,
do.
maybe they'll caravan with us and go part of the way up Africa with us. That would be hecka cool. All right. Oh, look, we got some more questions coming in.
Yes.
All right. When do you think you'll be in Laredo to cross over? So here's the thing. There's another event. Yes, another event. Early October, October 1st through the 3rd in Llano, Texas, there is the Texas Avid Outdoor Fall Expo. I think that's the full name of it. Frank Alvarado is going to kill me because I don't have it memorized, but it's October 1st through the 3rd in Llano, Texas. And there's a slim chance, well, maybe a little chance that we will go. We want to go. We want to go see our Texas friends in the overland space. And it kind of fits right in that space for us. So there's a possibility, I guess is the right word. We'll go to Llano, Texas, which would put us the 1st through the 3rd. And then sometime later that week, we would head into Corpus, say goodbye to family, and then head to the border crossing. So I would say sometime between October 4th and the 10th is the answer to that question.
Are we cool to have crossing buddies?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Did he ask that?
No, he didn't ask that, but we offered someone else to be crossing buddies.
Yeah.
So if anybody's just like intimidated about crossing into interior Mexico, we'll be your crossing buddies.
Yep. Yep.
That's our bridge.
Our bridge.
We've been there before.
We roll. That's how we roll. Okay. Are you also going to travel around the States, or is Focus International? Greta, we have been traveling throughout the United States for the past 8 years, full time. And so, not that we don't love the United States.
Or that we've seen everything.
Or that we've seen everything. I love the United States. I served our country for 20 years in the military. I love the United States, and I'm so thankful and blessed to be an American. But we're pretty much done with the U.S. other than our travel between here and Colorado, Arizona, back to Texas, and then we cross into Mexico.
Yeah, kind of while health allows us to make this trip and our son is young enough to make this trip, we need to do it. Like, this is our time to do it.
So this is probably one of the deepest questions we've been asked. Scott's Lale Land? Scott's Lale Land Adventures. How is COVID affecting your travel plans? Man, that is a good question. So here's the sitch. There are countries around the world right now which you can fly into as a tourist, and they need your tourist dollars. They want people to fly in, but you cannot drive across their borders because their ground borders are closed. And so that's how it's affecting our travels right now. We are keeping our eye on the ground border situation in the various countries in Central and South America. We're not looking at Europe. We're not looking at Africa. That's too far away for us right now. But what we're really focused on is Central America specifically, and the start of South America. And those are right now, some of them are still in question. However, we're hopeful that by the end of 2022, that we'll have a better feel, internationally for what that looks like in Central and South America.
Yeah. And again, we're supposed to be in Mexico until like February, March, even as late as April.
Yeah.
And so we have a lot of time for things to change one way or the other. And it's just no reason to plan right now, really.
Right. And worst case scenario, Mexico gives us a 6-month visa, right? So we could cross into Belize and then realize we're not going to get much further yet. We can cross back into Mexico. And let me tell you something right now. It's not going to burn our hides at all to spend a year in Mexico. We love Mexico. So no big deal there.
Thanks for the questions,
great
guys.
question, Scott. Yeah.
Way to go.
What issues do you foresee happening traveling to other countries with differing COVID perceptions? I was actually just talking to a guy about an hour before we went live here, and he is in Costa Rica. And we were specifically talking about how COVID is going down there for him, and he was filling me in. And, every country is going through this right now. This is a global pandemic, and every country is handling it differently. And I think that for us, we're going to have, we're guests. We're guests in their country. So we are going to respect their laws. We are going to abide by whatever paperwork that they need. And we are going to do our best to be good ambassadors for the United States wherever we go. We are definitely people who care about the global community at large. It doesn't matter to us what country you're from. You're human beings, and we're human beings, and we want to be part of this global community with you. So whatever their laws are and whatever their rules are, that's what we're going to do. All right. John says, what suspension are you using? You tackle this. You know what it is. Go ahead. Seriously, I'm not kidding. She does know.
Okay.
I want to see this. I'll help her.
We put on a 2-inch Mopar lift with the Fox shocks that come with it.
Mm-hmm.
I'm saying it.
I just want to make sure you do it right.
But we're getting Terraflex shocks when they're available. Mm-hmm. Because
Falcons.
Yeah, but they're made by Terraflex.
Yeah.
Terraflex Falcon shocks when they're available, because a lot of companies are dealing with shortage supplies with COVID. Okay. Then we have a rear sway bar made by Hellwig. Okay. Oh, I know. We have airbags that are in our rear coil springs that give us an extra 1,000 pounds of something. What is it? Capacity.
And our rear coil springs are made by?
I don't know that.
Terraflex. 3.5-inch rear coil springs.
Oh, yeah.
Right?
How'd I do? What's my grade?
She did pretty good. Hope that answers your question.
Someone give me my grade.
Yes. All right.
I like grades.
Gosh, when I ordered my Sport S 2020 on the Jeep website, clicked add max tow. I had to get the automatic. I bought it for towing. Let's change the ordering process with max tow. Oh, yeah. Okay. So I see that, Nana. I don't know. But you should be able to choose a manual or automatic with max tow. Will you be planning all of your destinations, or will you leave room for random exploration? Michael, great question. Mm-hmm. It's from Michael N. Absolutely. We're all about random exploration. All about it. Matter of fact, we just did a video for another presentation that we're doing, and we were laughing because I said, sometimes we don't know where we're going. And then Brittany sometimes we don't get to where we're going. Like everything's open for us. And that's part of what we really love about this lifestyle. Yes, there will be.
I think it'll be a lot like what we do in the United States, as we've been full-time traveling for more than 7 years, which is like we have points of interest that we'd really like to go to. But then when that day comes and like we're tired or we have to do laundry, we're like, all right, we're going to go get a hamburger. Or like we have hard dates, like in the United States, we have obviously more so in the United States than outside, but we have like someone's graduation or like a speaking event or something. In other countries, it'll be our visa expires on this date, or we got to get here so that we can ship the Gladiator out of the continent or whatever. And so those will be the hard dates that things are like based around, but everything else is going to be flexible. And like the United States, I expect that we will wake up most mornings not knowing where we are going to spend the night.
Right.
Because that is fun.
That's pretty much what we do every day.
That.
So this is something interesting. We've actually developed this thing where we talk about tomorrow, tonight, because it's tonight. That's kind of the saying that we use. I know it sounds really cheesy, but it's actually.
Eric made it up.
I made it up, but I made it up because Brittany really needed that.
I was crying.
She was crying because everything was kind of too flexible. And Brittany likes to be a little bit more organized. I like to wing it. I don't care. I'm like, wherever we go, we go. And Brittany's like, no, I need to have an idea. And I understand that because she does all the cooking and she needs to make sure Caspian's doing this and she's got to make,
I asked for 12 hours notice, which I feel isn't like asking for.
Right. So we've come up with this thing, which is we got to talk about tomorrow because it's the night. And so every evening, the goal is for us to talk about what tomorrow looks like. And that's when we usually make the decision on where we're going. Hope that answers that. All right.
How did we meet?
We met at church. That's how we met.
Corpus Christi, Texas.
All right. How are you handling the shipping of the Jeep? Will you be able to go on the boat with it, or will you fly and meet it? You go ahead on that, babe.
So
I'm gonna go get some more water.
Oh, okay. Oh, it's me. I've never done this by myself before. What do we do? Okay. So the Jeep is going to go in a shipping container. That was part of the selection of the Jeep Gladiator, is that it's thin enough and short enough to fit in a container, lock the door, and send it on the ship. We will not go on the ship with it. It's just for cargo. So we will fly across the water and meet it on the other side. And so that is how we are going to do that. Are you going to need COVID vacation, yellow fever, vac, passports? I'm going to Zimbabwe in 2 weeks, and I understand how hard it's been to get all these things. Yes. So both Eric and I are vaccinated. Caspian is too young to be vaccinated. We will get the yellow fever vaccination before Panama. There's a certain point in Central America where yellow fever starts to become an issue. So we'll get our yellow fever before we go there.
Wait, we're getting yellow fever.
We are 100% getting yellow fever. I was
The
actually
vaccine.
the vaccine. I was actually on the CDC's website today, and the CDC has maps for every different thing that you could possibly need a vaccination for. So they actually show you the countries in South America, Central America, and Africa where yellow fever is a problem, where you would want to be vaccinated before you go to those countries. Yellow fever is a one-shot thing for life. So we only need to get it once. Passports, yes, we have our passports. I had to renew mine this year. I am waiting for it to come back. So
That could be a delay.
I really hope it's here soon.
Caspian has his own little passport. Super cute.
Yeah.
All right. Hello from Louisiana. Hello from Texas, neighbor. When you are, and that was who? That was Taiyan. All right. Haas wants to know, when you are on the road, do you eat a lot of fast food or do you cook out of the Jeep? So both, not fast food though. We go to a lot of local joints. We love to sample the local cuisine.
Mexican food.
Oh my gosh.
It's an obsession.
And the thing for us is that that's part of the way that we experience the culture. But one of the things that I want to be clear about is that as we've traveled more and more and gone to more of the smaller local establishments, we actually try to get to know the people there at the local establishment. We want to be, and I don't say this to sound good. I say this because it's true about us. We want to be more concerned about the people who are cooking the food than the food that we're eating. Like, we really want to get to know the communities that we go into. And so we'll often strike up a conversation with either the wait staff or the owner of the restaurant if it's a really small place, and just kind of get to know them.
We actually camped at a restaurant in Baja. They literally, well, first, so you parked out front because we had so much mud.
You guys, our Jeep was coated in like 2 inches of mud all over it. And I pull up to this restaurant.
And the restaurant owner, first he said we could spend the night there. And then he offered his hose, which had no water pressure. So I remember like looking out the window and Eric's there with the hose, and it's like coming down like
this. And I'm putting my thumb on the end and I'm trying to squeeze it for all it's worth.
But it was so sweet that he offered his hose. And then like they opened the gate, we drove in, they locked it behind us. And then on one side was the entrance to the restaurant. It was open until 10 and they had wine. And then on the other side of where we were parked, they had a bathroom and they had a shower with hot water. And they let us stay there.
So cool.
It was awesome.
Yes. So we love eating out when we go to experience the culture. But as far as cooking,
we do.
Brittany cooks all the time
from
the Jeep, all the time.
All right. So we're at 1 hour and 2 minutes. How much longer do you want to go?
Let's answer these next few questions and then we'll wrap up.
Okay.
And we'll tell you once more about our next series, you guys. So stick with us for just a second. All right. Can you say when you'll come back to the United States? Will you bring the Gladiator back or not? How come?
I don't think that was the question, but.
You say when you come back in the U.S., you will not bring the Gladiator back. Okay, because the Gladiator is going to stay wherever we leave it. So, for example, if 2 years from now we are in, I don't know, Colombia, and we decide to fly back to the United States to visit family or do some public speaking engagements, then we will fly back in, go do those, and the Gladiator will stay in the country. Then we'll fly back to the country, hop back in the Gladiator, and continue the drive. All right. I'm using icon suspension right now with 3.5 inch lift. Sounds good. How do your strengths and weaknesses complement each other when on the road? Michael, that's a great question. Brittany's an introvert. I'm an extrovert. Brittany's a planner. I wing it.
I put on the brakes.
She puts on the brakes.
When Eric's like going
I put on full speed ahead.
But like every awesome thing we've ever done was probably Eric's idea, except for this one.
And
this one was my idea.
But we complement each other because even though we're best friends, we're opposites in many, many ways. And as a result of that, I've learned to depend on Brittany a lot. And she's learned to trust me even when it kind of goes against the grain of what she wants to do. So it's just a good combination. It's been tough, but we make it.
It is tough sometimes. It's not always easy.
Yeah. Have you had any bad experiences while camping, such as people messing with you? No, I can't think of any. Can you?
48 continental United States, 2,000 miles in Baja, 2,000 miles in interior Mexico. Only one thing happened, but it was slightly our fault.
Yeah, and we weren't even with the Jeep. So
No.
the answer is no. Nobody's ever messed with us. People have been really kind and hospitable to us. Again, we do things intentionally. Like, for example, when we're in a foreign country, we are at our campsite where we're spending the night at 3 p.m. We don't drive at night. We don't drive in the dark. And the reason we get there by 3 p.m. is that if for some reason we don't feel good, you get that gut instinct that you're like, yeah, this isn't sitting right. There's something off here.
Or it just wasn't what we thought it was going to be.
Then we've got 2 full hours that we can drive to another location before, and still another hour before dark after that. So 3 hours basically. But we don't drive at night. We do our due diligence. We talk to the locals. We find out where the good spots are and that kind of thing. But yeah, we've never had anybody mess with, except for bees. We got attacked by bees at Pufferfish Beach.
And it wasn't their fault. We were on the ocean. They didn't have any fresh water, and I had fresh water.
There's a swarm of bees. All right. How can we support you? I don't know, Brittany.
Thanks for asking.
Thank you for asking.
That. Yeah, we have some things in the works. I think eventually we might do the YouTube membership we've been talking about, launching that sometime this year, which is kind of the Patreon equivalent.
We may create a Patreon. I don't know. Right now, if you go to hourlesslife.com, on any of our articles, there is a little box that says donate.
It's just a PayPal donation.
Yeah, if you want to hook us up with a tank of gas or something, that would be awesome. But we might do Patreon at some point in time. I don't know. Would there be an interest? Anybody on here? Comment. Would you be a Patreon of ours? Let us know.
Is it Patreon or patron?
Patreon, I think.
We
don't even know.
We don't even know.
But the bottom line is we don't do this.
This is how you can support us.
Yeah.
Like we appreciate our online community so much, and it is very isolating to travel full time. And so like, I don't know that people always believe us when we talk about how much our online community means to us, but there have been so many times when we're in trouble or we need an answer to a question that we don't know because we're not mechanics is usually what it has to do with, or just like we're feeling down. Yeah. And like y'all are our friends. Our friends are all online because we travel all the time. So this is the biggest way right now. And in the future, there might be other ways. We will let you know.
Right. From that standpoint, there might be other ways. But I also want to echo something that Brittany said. For us, your support of just being a part of our community is huge. And I'll tell you why. Because we may not know somebody in this state in the United States or in this country or in this city around the world, but somebody in our community does. And so when we get into a situation where we need help and we're like, guys, we are here and we're stuck, inevitably between Instagram, Facebook, Twitter, or YouTube, somebody will say, oh, dude, my cousin's in Ecuador. I can totally hook you up. Let me just get him on the phone, and then it's like, wow. And that is so huge for us. So that's bigger support than anything that we could ask for. So we're really thankful to you, our community members. All right. So you'll not be disappointed in the airlift suspension. Thank you so much, Michael. That's really good to hear. He's saying he's got a 3.5-inch lift on his JK Rubicon with airlift bags. And that's encouraging because we haven't put it to the test yet. Art and Abdurazak, you're going to have to tell me how to pronounce that. Thank you for getting behind us.
Thank you both.
Really appreciate that. Michael says, I look forward to seeing your videos. Thank you so much. You're most welcome. Thanks for being here. And another person says, I've got an AluCab canopy camper on the way. Yes, yay! Michael, right on. Cool. Super excited. Wanted to get to know you guys. Yeah, please reach out to us either here on YouTube or on our Instagram. We answer questions all the time. So if you have questions specifically about the AluCab canopy camper that we can answer.
We are so impressed with the quality of the AluCab canopy camper and just the way that they use it on safari in South Africa. And the company has been around for so long. We're really, really pleased. And I can't wait to really make it home. I have some nesting to do in my little canopy camper.
We were going to wrap this up in an hour, but you know what? One of the people that told me that I really respect on YouTube, they said, if people are still asking questions, keep answering them. So we're going to answer a few more questions. If you feel like you need to go, please don't feel like you have to stay. But
until this is empty, we'll be here. Just kidding.
This is just us, you guys. We just enjoy hanging out with our community and getting to know you. So please hang out with us as long as you like. Grab another glass of wine or whatever you're drinking and come join us. So how do you deal with animals that might try to attack? Also, do you keep protection on the road? So you don't know how fast Caspian is, but sometimes we can just put him down in the campground and he just runs and the animals chase him and they can't catch him because he's super fast. No, I'm kidding. Now we're going to get reported or something. No. So we haven't had any real issues with animal attacks. We are very careful though. Obviously, you have to know the areas that you're going into. We've been doing this a long time. We're very bear aware. We're aware of our surroundings. We have run across rattlesnakes and bears and all kinds of creatures.
Mountain lion tracks.
We've never been attacked, thank God. And do we carry protection on the road? Well, yes, is the answer to that question. However, that's going to change when we go internationally. So I'm a retired law enforcement officer in the Coast Guard. And then I work for the King County Sheriff's Office in Texas DPS. So I've always carried a firearm and I've been trained in its use and whatnot. But when we go internationally, that's not going to happen. I think situational awareness is really good to have and to just kind of know what's going on in the area that you're in and don't do stupid stuff. Like, just be careful.
Yeah.
It's about the best you can do. There are things you can take with you into various countries that you could use as protection. For example, in Mexico, you can carry a machete. You can't carry a knife that's 6 inches or 8 inches long, but you can carry a 5-foot machete because that's just a tool. But at the same time, that could also be used to defend yourself if you needed to. So there are things you can do. You can carry bug spray and that kind of stuff, or bear spray, bug spray.
You didn't mean to say bug spray.
For me, I did. Those are the animals that attack me. As bugs. Honestly, that's the worst animal attack that we've had.
Yeah, that's true.
Now that the camper is installed, anything you wish you'd done differently or that I should watch for? Juniper's doing the install, so I'm in good hands. Michael, you're going to be really, really happy with the folks at Juniper. Their attention and detail is phenomenal. Anything you should watch for? No, I mean, I really can't think of anything. They really paid attention to the details on the install itself. Just remember, it's an empty shell. So you've kind of got to start dreaming what you want to do with the inside of it, designing that. We've come up with some pretty cool ideas. Feel free to send us a DM on Instagram and I'll talk about those with you more directly if you'd like.
And Michael, you probably know this already, but we have a full playlist on our builds with the Canopy Camper. So you can kind of see how all the puzzle pieces fit together.
Yeah. Art had said this may not be your thing, but come to Orlando and camp at Disney.
Don't do it.
Art, I got to tell you something. Brittany is obsessed with Disney, and we
Disney
go
World
Disney World specifically in Orlando, and we've been there many, many times. We were actually just there.
Well, we go almost every year.
We're
in the States because we own a timeshare.
And now
Kissimmee.
And now Caspian, that's all he talks about. And matter of fact, he has a playlist on my phone for his music, and half the songs are Disney songs.
Every day we listen to Disney.
Today
music.
we just added Haunted Mansion on my phone.
Oh man, we usually go every November, so I'm like dying that we can't go this year.
We're gonna miss it, but I hear France has a Disney.
Thank you, Art, for the invitation. When I am back in 2023, I might take you up on that.
Maverick says, "What's up, guys from East Coast Canada? What's up, Maverick? Cheers."
Hey.
David Lackey, we love you, brother. Digital Buddha, hi, Eric and Brittany. Hi, Digital Buddha. Good evening from San Pedro. Gabriel Lopez. Hey, what's up, Gabriel? Bear spray works for 2- and 4-legged threat. That is the truth, brother. And we will probably have some of that with us soon. Let's just say soon. Let's see here. Also, keep your fob with you all the time so you can honk if you're in trouble when camping to draw attention. Hey, Nana, that's a really, really good point. So our Gladiator has a lot of thought put into it. So one of the things that we have are Rigid Industries scene lights. Full transparency, we are also sponsored by Rigid Industries, but they were going on our vehicle one way or the other.
How do you spell scene?
It's scene like the scene of a movie scene. SCENE. Okay. And we have amber ones and we have white ones. Believe it or not, a lot of animals will come out just nocturnally at night, whatever, but if you turn on a bright white light outside your vehicle, they will run away. They don't like them. It's not a guarantee, but it actually works quite a bit. And so we actually have 3 scene lights, both on the passenger side, driver side, and the rear of the canopy camper that I can control from my phone.
Yeah, they're managed with our Red Arc system.
Yep, I can control them from my phone. I can put them on, and it brightens up the whole campground. It can make it look like daytime at night.
Yeah, it's like you don't even want to look at it. It's so bright.
Yeah, so that's a really good thing to have. And then as far as we also have a ridiculously loud alarm on Dauntless. And if I set it off, it will pretty much scare any animals, insects, people groups, whatever happens to be around. It's pretty obnoxious. John says, we're looking at the AluCab Canopy Camper. We've looked at RTTs, other truck caps, and off-road trailers. Yeah, John, if we can be a resource for you, let us know. We've had a iCamper SkyCamp 2.0 on top of our Jeep Wrangler, our North American overland rig. Really happy with it. Really, really happy with it. It deployed in 45 seconds. It stowed in a minute and a half. King size bed in there, very spacious. If you're looking at a rooftop tent, would definitely recommend you considering
if you reach out privately, John, through our contact form or on our website or an Instagram private message, Facebook private message, we can have a conversation about what you're considering and from our experience.
Yeah, and we'll give you time, John. Like, I think a lot of people see that, either on our Instagram or our YouTube that we have X amount of fans or whatever, or friends or followers, whatever they're called, and they think that we're not going to respond. We do. Send us a contact form. You'll see we will respond to you in detail. All right. Wasp sprays, 25-foot screen. All right. That's not a bad thing either. What's up from Guam? Nice. What's up, JP? Stumbled onto your channel. Looking forward to seeing the travels. Any reason why you chose the Gladiator specifically? Yes, we kind of already answered that, JP, in here. So
if you scroll back up, JP, there's 2 links that I posted. One of them is an article I wrote about why we picked the Gladiator, and another one is a podcast episode from Overland Journal podcast where they talked about the Gladiator, and that podcast episode influenced us. We were already leaning towards the Gladiator, but that podcast episode kind of like sealed the deal, I guess, for us.
All right. So I think we're good with questions right now. You guys, thank you so much for being part of this. Let me tell you a little bit about what's coming up. So Brittany said this at the beginning of the video, but for those that you just joined, our next series is going to be kind of an Overlanding 101 series, but our style.
Yeah, it's not going to be the stuff that you've heard before.
No, it's going to be just based on real world, applicable, experienced things that we've learned. And we're going to be sharing with you what we think you should take, what we think you should have, what we think you should avoid, how we live our life on the daily, how we take showers, how we use the restroom, how we have privacy, how we cook, what gear that we use. We're not selling any gear, but we will show you the gear that we use most specifically, and just answer general questions about what it's actually like to do this full time.
Yeah, and our belief is that you shouldn't spend so much money on your gear that you don't have any money left to travel with. And so we're really focused on encouraging people to go with what they have right now, like get out there. And that's how you're going to learn what style of travel you like and what you actually need so that you don't waste money and you don't put off your adventure for later when you could be doing it right now. Like you wouldn't believe the vehicles that people drive internationally.
Yeah.
It's not the stuff that you're seeing at SEMA or the stuff that you're seeing at Overland
or
Expo.
Even Dauntless.
It just doesn't look like that.
Yeah.
You don't need to have that to have the adventure of a lifetime. And that's something that's really important to communicate for us.
Yeah. And one thing that I will say, if you are going to go out soon, like maybe you're planning on going out this weekend and it's your first time, just have the 5 basics of survival covered. Okay. You need to have water. You need to have food. You need to have a shelter. You need to have warmth or the ability to create warmth, whether that's a fire, sleeping bag, whatever. And you need to have the ability to get a good night's sleep. Those are the 5 things you need. Anything else is literally extra. It's want to have, not need to have. So as long as you have water, food, shelter, warmth, and sleep covered, you're good. Go out and enjoy it. If that means you're throwing a sleeping bag and a pillow and some sandwiches and a canteen of water in the back of your vehicle and going out to the mountains this weekend, go. Just make sure you let somebody know where you're going. If you're going by yourself,
take a friend, preferably.
Yeah, preferably take a friend. But if you are going somewhere, make sure somebody knows when you're going and when you're looking to come back. All right. I think that's it, you guys. This is our very first live. I know the lighting's horrible. I can see it. It looks all.
Yeah, we seriously we were like scrambling at the last minute because Caspian just went to bed and Eric was like, I need you. And I was
She's like, I'm putting our
I'm
son to bed. And I was like, baby, the lighting's all off. Everything's jacked up. But hey, you stuck with us. Thank you guys so much. We love you being part of our community. Continue to get to know us. We'd love to get to know you. And if you're going to be at Overland Expo Mountain West at the end of August,
Loveland, Colorado,
or Overland Expo West,
Flagstaff, Arizona,
at the end of September, we would love to meet you, hang out with you, bring a chair, come sit down, let's hang out. Until next time, guys.
Peace out.
Have a good night.